Kia ora, welcome back. We're going to get started. We've got quorum. So we now move on to the Arts Strategy Implementation Update. Nigel, if you're able to, and Nigel and Kitty, if you're welcome, if you could give us a quick talk through. You know, there's been a couple of questions through. So if you're able to talk to us about those, that'd be great. Thanks.
Kia ora. In terms of, thought I'd intend to go through, start with a couple of clarifications and in terms of just corrections in the report to go through, if that's okay. And then Kitty will give a bit of an overview of Toa Tutahi, and then in terms of a briefing on what we've done so far. So I just wanted to clarify that in terms of in 5.4, in terms it was supposed to say the 19th of February 2021, not February 19. We haven't been 2 years since the approval in principle, so it was February 2021, the 19th, that happened. The other one is just to highlight the importance of this being a co-created strategy. So in terms of this was a co-created strategy with partners, but for the ability for anyone and everyone to participate and be part of the implementation of Toa Tutahi. So it's not a Christchurch City Council strategy that we're driving ourselves. We're a partner to it, but with others. And the other one, in terms of to go through the figures that are in this plan that were approved in principle by the partners in February, in terms of the $130,000 that's circa committed to this, and then we'll go through funding rounds with those partners. Council's contribution to that is about $20,000, which is in existing budgets, and it's work that we already do that's been aligned to Toa Tutahi. So I just wanted to clarify that, and that's on top of all the other work we've done. And you would have seen by email this morning, just as an overview, some of the work plan that the arts team has going on and how they've aligned that to the outcomes of Toa Tutahi as well.
That's great. Thank you very much. Kitty, anything to add?
Oh, just tēnā koutou. The work plan that we're developing, that we had developed as a team in council, is responding to the key priorities from the strategy, and we are in a way redrafting that to bring the partners on board to support the delivery of the strategy, and that's the work that's underway at the moment with partners.
That's great. Thank you very much. Do we have some questions? Jimmy.
That's 5.4. I just want to know that you create all those 3 years, the program activities, whether it's under the action plan or implementation plan of art strategies, part of that or separate.
So in terms of the agreement in principle is aligned specifically to the art strategy, Toa Tutahi. So in terms of the funding from partners will contribute to, in terms of delivery, purely against Toa Tutahi. And this is in addition to what they already do. So RATA, for example, Creative NZ, already provide funding to the sector. This is over and above that.
But at the moment, we have no this action plan, am I right? This strategy or implementation plan. At the moment, we have no this one.
We have an internal one
Yes.
that the arts team deliver against, and other parts of council, of course, are supporting the delivery of the strategy.
Yes.
We are working on a joined up plan, and that's what's in current conversation with the strategy partners.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yanni.
Yeah, thanks. I'm just looking at the document that we got sent through. I presume, is that the one that's coming out of the arts office, this project?
The paper you've got in front of you is an indication of the items that are in front of the different partners to be funded. So in terms of when we talk about the funding of the communication plans, websites, community art participation, hui's, workshops, residencies and masterclasses, and research and projects, they are part of the things that was agreed in principle in February to be done. What we're waiting for before that's actually confirmed is for each of those partners to go through their funding rounds to have the funding confirmed and committed, and it's not just a 12 month, it's over a period of 4 financial years, but 3 calendar years if you went through that.
So things like, for example, where you list certain neighbourhoods as key creative communities, how do we have input into where those areas are?
So we're undertaking as an arts team at the moment some desktop analysis of what's happening where in Christchurch, because that's of use to us, and it's of use to communicating with citizens and connecting them to opportunities that are close to their home. But we're also interested in those areas which have perhaps a higher density of arts businesses or arts organisations and activity based, and so we're just starting to look at what they what those neighbourhoods look like, what's going on and what is attracting.
So where it looks like Littleton, Sydenham and New Brighton, is that an assumption that work will happen in those areas ahead of areas like Woolston or Sumner or Mount Pleasant or wherever else?
The idea is that all neighbourhoods are included in the initial assessment of what's going on where, so that we can map that, because we don't have a comprehensive map of where activity is taking place. What we're also noting, though, is that our initial analysis would be that there are areas where there are pockets of either activity and businesses established, such as Sydenham, and areas where there is some reputation or heightened activity or conversation in the arts community around those places having a creative vibe, perhaps.
Okay. And the other question I had was around Ngātahu Māori plan. Is Ngāi Tahu or Te Puna Kōkiri involved with us?
Yeah, we have a representative of mana whenua participating at the steering group level, and we are working on further engagement so that we develop a plan with the Māori arts sector in particular.
So is there a, sorry for my ignorance, but is there a specific group that's set up in terms of the Māori arts sector, or?
No, there isn't one overarching group that we could go to and have that conversation in the Māori arts sector.
Right. I mean, I'm not on the committee that, the Tihonanga committee, but maybe people want to raise it there who are on it and see how they can work together. I would have thought with things like the Red House and all the other things that we're looking at.
So Yanni, you're starting to get quite a long way beyond the scope of the actual report today.
Oh, this was the document I got that was about what we were doing.
So that was additional to the actual report that's on the agenda. But it's really clear that it would be really good for us to generally have an update on the broader in one place rather than ad hoc, I think. So
rather than getting the detail today then, is there a process for the actions that are proposed to come back to us for governance input? And if so, what would that look like?
I've just asked for an update, a broader update, which we can have either in a briefing session or something like that on the arts implementation. And it may be that we're able to have a look at, we can have a look at the staff implementation plan that you're looking at and whether we need to formalise that.
I think you're missing the point. So, so the strategy partners have agreed in principle to a plan, right?
Yeah.
What I'm trying to understand is at what point do we see the detail of that plan and have the ability to put things in or change things at a governance level?
So that is beyond the scope of today's report, which is why I have asked for us to get an update which will include that information.
Right, so there's no risk of agreeing to this today to then be told that the plan's already been agreed with our partners and we're unable to change it.
Just receiving
The purpose of today is to provide an update in terms of where we're at. We're not asking for...
We're not approving anything, Yanni. We're receiving information. This work is currently delegated to staff. And so we will be getting an update at some stage soon, so we'll make sure we book that in.
Sorry, if you go to 5.4, a meeting of strategy partners on Feb 9th was held. Staff presented a proposal for a 3-year program of activity. And so there is a proposal for work. All I'm trying to understand is if when it comes back to us, will it be too late for us to make changes to that program of activity, or will we be within scope to do that?
In terms of to go through, what that's relying on is funding and commitment from the partners to complete some of the pieces of work. So when I said at the start, there's circa $130,000 towards the implementation of council's contributions, about $20,000. So in terms of the partners and what they were committing to do, we can bring that back once that's confirmed and to let you know. But in terms of the council's ability to change what those partners have committed to, will be limited.
Yeah, it's not our role to approve what other partners are doing in the arts space.
No, and to add to that, part of the question, I think, also is once we have the funding rounds completed and we know exactly what's going to happen, and at the same time we have some benchmarking work that's being completed at the moment that's funded by Creative NZ to actually be able to articulate what difference Toa Totahi has made to the creative sector in Totahi. So we'll work through that and we'll bring that back. So the intention is that there will be one report that will go to all strategy partners to the sector to let them know what has happened, but the difference that's been made as opposed to a list of tasks that have been completed. We actually want to have some benchmark data.
But just so I'm clear, we're being told what's happening. We don't have any governance input into the priorities. Because what I've heard is we've got an agreed program
It's not just a
and our staff presented the proposal for a 3-year program. So you can say it's not just council, it's our
Yanni?
staff that did that
Yanni?
program.
As governors, we have signed off on the strategy, so that is some high-level governance that we've given in direction. Staff have delegations, and we are going to get an update. You have heard this about 4 or 5 times now. We will be getting an update on the stuff that you have asked for, but it's not within the scope of this report today. So do I have a mover? Yep, thanks Sam. Tim, thank you very much. Any debate? Yanni?
We've got to get out. We've got to get out of just being told what's happening. I mean, honestly, like we sign off on strategies, we should actually be having some governance oversight of the implementation of those strategies and a position to know what's being done when, what's not being done and why, and what priorities are being put forward. But at the moment, for us to be told that a program of activity has been presented to our stakeholders, to have had no governance oversight or input into that program, and then be told that you'll just get an update and be told what's happening, I just find that unacceptable. I think, you know, as people that were involved in development of strategies and signing off on strategies as a council, that it is our role at a governance level to look at how those strategies are being delivered and to have an ability to raise concerns around where the priorities are if things aren't happening or things are being redirected. Unfortunately, I think the report in front of us today is asking us to agree to a program of work which we're now being told we cannot have any input into and will only simply be given updates on. And I totally disagree with that.
It's not us.
We have to make decisions around funding priorities. That will be something that we do on an individual basis as the applications come in. But there are some wider issues in the arts sector that I think we should be absolutely turning our mind to. So I can't support this today. I support the intent of what staff are proposing, but I do think that we should have had a briefing on the proposed program of activity and an opportunity at a governance level to provide input. It is clearly that our strategy's been signed off. There are things that are not happening, things that are delayed, things that have changed, and I think it's only fair that we have an ability to influence that.
Thank you. Any further debate, Tim?
Thank you. I totally disagree. I think that it's for us to partner with the arts community. That's what we've instructed our staff to do. That's what they have done. I don't think anyone around this table could really call themselves an artist, but I don't think, yeah, I think there's a few artists maybe, but we won't go there. But our staff have gone to the community, the arts community. They've gone in with an open mind. They've gone there and talked with them. And with regards to the meeting of the February the 19th, I just can't understand why this is just such an issue. It's an issue by one person. I think that it's great. It's going to be good to hear from our community. And the arts community are notorious for being divided in unity. So let's just put it that way. So I think our staff are doing an absolutely outstanding job. There is never enough money in the arts. There's always a lot of support, but the money is an issue. But I think the staff have done an outstanding job trying to get them all together and move forward with strategy, and I look forward to the update. As the Chair has mentioned, 5 or 6 times now? Thank you.
Anything further? Jimmy?
If we review the council, the committee outcome, particularly regarding to the resilient community, arts is equally, to the culture, heritage, sport, and recreation. That's very, very crucial, to comply, implementation, our resilient community. I'm happy because council, we adopt this kind of arts strategy probably at least 1 year ago. So how to implement those strategy more effectively, efficiently, and can totally achieve our goal of our community outcomes, very, very crucial and important. But at least today we are happy to listen to from the officer, feedback to us, this update status of the implementation. But still we can go more better, But what is our action plan, implementation plan? What is the time frame? Because I reviewed those paragraph 5.4 and 5.5. 5.4 we emphasize for the next program, the 3 years activity. But 5.5 we establish financials 4 years. Let's how about 1 more year where the funding come from? That's my particular concern. If next time staff or office can feedback us more clearly regarding the time frame, regarding all those actions, implementation plan, give us overall picture, give us more confidence to implement this one. This I look forward to.
Anyone further? No, so all of those in favour of receiving the information in the report, please say aye. Aye. Any against? No, so I declare that carried. Can you please record Yanni's vote against? Thank you very much.
Thank you.